Ever wondered how to improve your average speed when commuting? We're going to answer that question now. So you've done your first bike commute and it took you very long. It took you much longer than expected. And you say, how can I improve my average speed? So you go in and type the question into a search engine, and the answers that come up is get more aero, get lighter, and all those are well and good, but they're intended for cyclists who want to go really fast and they're hobbyists and get onto their bikes on weekends and they want to go fast and they're not happy with their average speed, but they don't really apply to the commuter. Commuting is a very different genre of cycling. So I'm going to give you a few clever ways in which you can speed up your average speed. You can increase your average speed when on your bike commuting. So your commuting average speed, just keep this in mind, your commuting average speed is going to be the time that it takes you, the distance that you have to cover between your home and your workplace, and the time divided by the time that it takes you to get there. So there is really two ways to increase your average speed on that distance. One of them is go faster, and then the other one is reduce the distance. Like, how can you reduce the distance? Well, that's the first tip. The distance between your home and your workplace, the shortest distance is the line of sight. But rarely does it happen that you have a perfectly straight line, a straight road running from your home to your workplace. By improving the route that you take, you're going to affect your average speed. Of course, the average speed overall on the distance that you have to ride is not going to change, but the average speed between your home and the destination does. So find a more efficient route and you're going to be much faster. My very first commute was 11.5 miles and it was an hour and 5 minutes. Then I found another way that turned out to be over a mile shorter. So I went from 11.5 to 10.5 miles. And then accidentally a few months later, I found a way that was only 10 miles long. So I went from 11.5 to 10 miles, and I went from an hour and 5 minutes the very first day down to 35 to 40 minutes now. So don't worry, if you're not as fast as you want to be at the moment, you can improve. Just sit down, look at a map and see, is there any way I can optimize my ride? And I guarantee that very likely there is a way to be more efficient, to be more direct. You can turn on your GPS on your phone, or if you have a GPS bike computer, then you can use that and see, okay, this is the way I'm going now, and compare it against the most efficient route and take that. And you can try it out, and if it doesn't work, well, there's nothing to lose. Next tip is related to that. Sometimes shorter routes are less efficient because they have more traffic lights. The more you need to slow down for traffic lights, pedestrians, cars, the slower your average speed is going to be. And this is how you can actually go faster overall. If there are two roads parallel to each other, same distance, same length, but one of them is full of traffic lights, the other one has no traffic lights at all, guess where you're going to be faster. It actually is remarkable because if you overtake a slower cyclist and you ride for a minute after overtaking him and you get to a red light, that cyclist can catch up with you within a few seconds, or maybe in half a minute. He can catch up with you. The light turns green and the guy is just arriving. He overtakes you and it takes you about another 15 to 20 seconds before you can reach him. Also, some lights are very long, like some red lights are very long. Another one is by pacing yourself. And by pacing yourself, I don't mean just pace yourself so you don't burn out, but you will notice there are usually major traffic lights are synchronized to each other. There is one particular red light that takes about 2 minutes to turn green. So if I don't catch that, I just sit there and wait for the green to come. But I know exactly how it's synchronized to the previous light. And I know that if I push really hard for that half a mile stretch between the two lights, I will always catch the green. Of course, another way of being faster, if you ride a really slow bike at the moment, if you have a department store bike, then just by upgrading to a better bike, a nice hybrid or a road bike or a fitness bike, is going to make a big difference. You're going to know it's going to be night and day. Department store bikes are usually heavy, slow. Many of them have the smaller 26-inch wheels. So if you go from 26 inches to 28 inches, that is already going to affect your average speed and your speed overall enormously. And it's going to be a much more comfortable and much better, much more pleasant ride. So I hope you found those tips helpful and you're gonna give them a shot. And if you like the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and I'd appreciate if you subscribed. This is a new channel helping you to get into bike commuting and enjoy the great outdoors. So see you in the next one.